Alright, Treasury Financial Manual, Volume 1, Part 5, Depository Regulations, Chapter 2000, Depositing Domestic Checks, Cash Received in Over-the-Counter Collections. Chapter 2000, Depositing Domestic Checks and Cash Received Over-the-Counter Collections. Chapter prescribed the instruction federal entities to deposit the domestic checks and cash. Section 2010, Scope of the applicability. The guidance is being issued to ensure the federal entities prefer over-the-counter net deposit tickets properly with request to designated financial institution. The Treasury General Account deposits make deposit without delay. Section 2015 Authority. 12 U.S. Standard Code 90, 265 to 266, 1767, 1789, Title 31 U.S. Standard Code 3301 to 3303, 3720, Section 2020, Terms of Definition related with this chapter. Please review the Treasury Financial Manual Glossary. Section 2025, No Cash, No Guidance. No cash, no check guidance. Federal entities may decide not to accept the payments made in cash or by check. Before adopting no cash, no check policy, federal entities should make determination that the policy will be beneficial to not the operation of the program generated with the payments factors. The federal entity must take into account when making determinations include federal entity statutory regulatory authorities, cost benefits associated implementing the policy, problematic economic reasons adopting policy, efficiency beginning by adopting policy, anticipated impact policy on the federal entities constitutes. If after examining the factors, federal entity determines it's more beneficial for the not adopt no cash or no check policy, officials should consider the decision consistent with the Treasury move to all electronic Treasury, as well for the purpose of federal cash management statutes. Section 2030, the inscription or check for the remitted for the must inscribe the check with an order to the specific organization maintained by the account to be credited, but not to the Department of Treasury. The payee of the organization must sufficiently identify with the insured prompt delivery. However, the check may be payable to the Treasury, but the federal entity must accept the process immediately. Under no circumstances should funds remitted for the federal entity be made payable to the individual officers and employees of the federal government, whether the checks are through the electric means. 2035, funds received through another federal entity. The federal entity receives funds if they must be deposited under the agency location code. It must deposit funds under its own agency location code. Classic transaction budget clearing account F3875, the Intragovernmental Payment Collection Funds Agency location code for which funds deposited. Section 2040, record records of the checks received. The federal entity depositories must keep the record of the checks received, including filing information amount with the name of the drawer, name of the person who received it, if other than the drawer, bank of the withdrawal, date of withdrawal, check, if the number, if the cashier check or similar item, check with account symbol, the serial number, drawn with the Treasury serial number, it post money order, check with loss for the mutilated, destroyed. Refer to check instruction Treasury Financial Manual Volume 1, Chapter 5000, Section 5035 on collected loss, destroyed, mutilated checks. Section 2045, depository endorsement of the checks deposited with the financial institution. Depository endorsement checks the deposited financial institution credit the Treasury accounts must at minimum include the agency location code, Treasury the words for credit to the user's Treasury. Depository must show the same agency location shown as the over-the-counter net deposit ticket with its adjustment with the checks deposited with the financial institution. Section 2050, making deposit 2050-10, deposit reporting. Federal entity must require the over-the-counter net deposit ticket the payment with the same of the financial institution along with the check of the cash deposit. Deposits must reach the financial institution by designated cutoff time, creating the over-the-counter net deposit ticket. Federal entity must enter for the voucher date with which show for the deposit created with note that the day of the federal entity expected to arrive at the financial institution. Federal entities must not pay post the day of the voucher date, even if they are going to mail and send the deposits by the courier. If the deposit arrives before the date entered for the over-the-counter net deposit ticket, the financial institution will not be able to confirm the federal entity deposit in a timely manner. Federal entities should make copies of the digital image of all copies of the images should be safeguarded with the retained based on the federal entity. The internal policy with Treasury recommended with the federal entity retaining these copies of images up to 10 business days, which will be enable the federal entities to recreate with the deposit if the text is ever lost or stolen. Section 2050, 20 check capture for the federal entity must process for the check for the over-the-counter check capture for the following items cannot be processed for the over-the-counter net check capture for items drawn with a U.S. non-U.S. financial institution savings bond. Note, since the items are not deposited with the federal entity financial institution, there's no need to endure for the backup of the check. Daily deposits must receive by 9:30 p.m. and the next day same settlement after being scanned with the Treasury recommended with the retaining physical check for up to 5 business days to ensure that there are no problem with the transmission. Image quality, the processing of the check should be safeguarded prior to destruction. Shredding is method by the checks should be destroyed. Section 2055, counterfeiting policy on currency. Financial institution must surrender secrets to the Secret Service and any suspected counterfeited currency by the Treasury General account and such for the federal entity will receive the financial institution federal copy of the Secret Service Form 1604 counterfeit note report. Any other documentation accompanied by the surrender currency as deployment of the federal must contact the Secret Service to find out if the surrendered currency was determined to counterfeit with the federal entity must ensure the financial institution properly over-the-counter net deposit ticket with the amount of the surrounding currency. The Secret Service determines if it is not counterfeit. See the contact section of the more information. Alright, Section 2060 designation of the FIs for Treasury designated official and financial institution for the Treasury General account deposits. Federal entities must deposit the funds in designated federal institutions. Federal entities must handle the delivery with the deposit of the designated financial institution, hire courier with the armed car service with the bank with the scheduled delivery except provided in Section 2060-10. Deposits must not be made with the financial institution or the automatic clearinghouse where deposit actively to be accepted with the federal entities cannot make the deposit at a Federal Reserve Bank. Note, the automatic clearinghouse federal wire deposit federal entity should refer to the Treasury Financial Manual, Volume 1, Part 5, Chapter 7500. Federal wire automatic clearinghouse credit deposits to the account of the Bureau of Official Services. Federal entities must recover the permission for the St. Louis Federal Reserve Bank to establish and change their financial institution. See the contact section for more information. In order to establish change of the financial institution, following information will need provided by the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, name of the federal entity, over-the-counter net, endpoint, name, agency location, code, name of the mailing address, phone number, address of the local federal entity, contact name of the location, federal entity, currently financial institution, time, manner, and federal entity, make the deposit of the current financial institution, name, location, proposed financial institution, name and phone number of the contact person, proposed financial institution, total dollar amount of the deposit, monthly total number of the checks deposited, monthly dollar amounts, number of the treasury checks deposited monthly, amount of the cash deposited monthly, and a brief justification statement. After the appropriation arrangement has been made, the Federal Reserve Bank of the St. Louis will notify the requesting federal entity the setup is complete. Note, the requested financial institution has 10 business days of the day of the receipt of federal entity profile sheet to respond with the request. Federal entities requesting financial institution need to provide Federal Reserve Bank St. Louis with 30-day notice prior to the federal entity of the first deposit. 2060-10 Mail-in Treasury General Account. Mail-in Treasury General Account developed to provide federal entity was also alternative to the Treasury General Account deposits with access to the local financial institution is available. Federal entities wish to use the Mail-in Treasury General Account must contact Federal Reserve St. Louis business to obtain the agency profile sheet, which must be filed with the Return Federal Reserve Bank St. Louis agency profile sheet and is sent with the commercial bank and administrator of the Mail and Treasury General Account program. Mail and Treasury General Account commercial bank is settled with the federal net with the instructions sent deposit with the U.S. Postal Service. Federal entity will update with the over-the-counter net with the Mail and Treasury General Account commercial bank routing transit number and account number. The federal entity will process the deposit with the over-the-counter net. Send the deposit with the Mail and Treasury General Account commercial bank with the confirmation, postage, registration, other expense incurred in the mailing deposit may be deducted from an amount with the deposit. Section 2065 frequency deposits. Frequency of the deposits. Federal entity depositors must limit the deposit to one per day. Federal entities must make the deposits for the credit with the U.S. Treasury account without delay. Following the procedure is below. Coordinated process schedule for the allow the deposit to reach the financial institution with the financial institution's designated cutoff time. Federal entities must deposit receiving the receipts totaling $5,000 or more same day received prior to the deposit their cutoff time. Deposits will be made last to late possible with the prior to specific specifically cut off their maximum daily deposit amounts. Collection totaling less than 5,000 may accumulate with the deposit. The total reaches 5,000. However, deposits must be made on by Thursday each week, regardless of the amount accumulated. If the over-the-counter net check capture for the federal entity must scan the check daily, even if the checks are in a total less than 5,000. Alright, 2070, if the report large deposit with the federal entity must report the daily aggregated deposits of $50 million or more to the Bureau of Special Services Cash Reporting Brands, Cash Forecasting Requirement Treasury, Chapter Treasury Financial Manual, Volume 1, Part 6, Chapter 8500, or Section 8530. For instructions how the federal entities must accept the check written from $999,999.99 as Federal Reserve banks will not process checks over that amount. Federal Reserve banks are operating with Circular 3, Collection and Cash Item Return Check, Section 3.3. Or Section 2075 Emergency Procedures, check mail-in Treasury General Account program developed with the federal entities contingency with a solution of the same with the over-the-counter net, the deposit with the reporting of the contingency issue with the event with the federal entity designated financial institution unable to deposit with any of the reasons they include but not limited to the reasons will not open the business, will delay the opening, will have limited hours of the operation, affect the environmental limitation, prevent physical delivery of the federal deposits, contact over-the-counter net customers for the team with the 866-945-7092. 0. Notify the customer representative of the federal entity intended with the CMI mail-in Treasury General Account notifications for the federal entity with the Guild of Property over-the-counter net application for the prior to mailing address for the mail-in Treasury General Account Commercial Bank contingency purpose. One for the contingency mail-in Treasury General Account Commercial of the bank receive the mail-in deposit with the federal entity. CMMITAGA Commercial Bank will conform with the over-the-counter net. Additional, when temporarily with the process of the CMITGA profit effective the federal entity should email the federal entity location, address, agency location, code, and direct inquiries should go to over-the-counter revenue collection division, Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. And that was Chapter 2000, deposit of domestic checks and cash covered over-the-counter collections.